Oh, I don't have an intro. That's rough. Okay, well, hi guys, my name is Morgan and I'm trying my best. The topic of today's video is minimalism, which is something that I've been interested in for about 4 years now. It lined up to when I left college and got my own place for the first time. Uh, Ironically, it also lines up with when I was living with my parents. And yeah, I'm back living with my parents. So here we are again. I am currently in the middle of a lot of life transitions. Namely, I'm living with my parents until I move out to Washington, D.C., which is going to happen at an unknown time. I'm starting a new job. New job, new city, new a lot of different things. And so I've been thinking a lot about minimalism recently, and one of the things I've been thinking about is mistakes I've made in the past, specifically with regards to things that I wish that I still had, but also just like with regards to things that I am doing differently now. My hair is going to change shape so many times during this video. So one of the things that I've been thinking about when it comes to minimalism is mistakes that I've made in the past and things that I'm doing differently now, or things that I want to do differently when I approach them this time around. And so I wanted to talk about that today. And a lot of the time when you watch a lot of decluttering videos like I have, or you do a lot of decluttering yourself, you kind of come to realize that regardless, like when you're asking yourself, should I declutter this? The answer is probably yes. Like you're not going to miss it most likely. And it's just one less thing for you to worry about in your life. However, I have made a few mistakes when it comes to decluttering, I guess, and minimalism in general, and I wanted to talk about those today. The first mistake that I want to talk about is decluttering or clearing out old staples before I find their replacements. And right now I'm thinking about a specific pair of sandals that I love very much, loved. I no longer have them and I miss them very much. They were very comfortable. They were kind of a gladiator style, so they were very strappy. And I wore them walking around Rome for 3 weeks. So you can imagine they were very comfortable, and I wish that I had sandals that were that stylish. Right now, all I have is Birkenstocks. That's one of the things that I wish I had found a replacement for before I got rid of them. Even though they were getting kind of old, I could have taken them to a cobbler. I could have like cut all of the little like strings that were coming loose off. I could have done a lot of things that I just didn't do. And so, yeah, that is the first mistake that I'm talking about today. My hair. Can the part just. The second mistake I want to talk about is one that when I got out of college, I really went deep on this. And that mistake is oversimplifying my wardrobe. I spent a lot of time on Pinterest looking at all of these like ideal capsule wardrobes and 25-piece wardrobes and stuff like that. And I thought that all I really needed were a pair of skinny jeans, a pair of black jeans, and a couple of white t-shirts, and I would be good to go. And that was a mistake. There are a couple of things that I've decluttered that I really miss, like, a sweatshirt that happens to be in my favorite color. That's one of the things that I could have been a little bit more cognizant of when I was cleaning out my wardrobe, where, yes, it's not fitting in directly with this Pinterest capsule wardrobe, but it's something that I wear quite a lot and something that I enjoy wearing, so why not keep it around? I've also found that if my wardrobe doesn't have like statement pieces in it, I get bored. I think that if I hadn't oversimplified my wardrobe and gotten rid of things that I still used, I think I would be a little bit more happier with my wardrobe today. The next mistake that I've made is buying basics that I would never use. So things that I'm thinking of here are any number of blazers that I've purchased, heels, and like most high heels that I've ever owned are basics, but I don't wear heels. they may be a basic, but they may not just be in my style. So if you see a list of like wardrobe staples that you need now, probably hold off on buying them until you get an idea of how they fit into your style, how they fit into your wardrobe, how you can mix them with stuff that you already own, stuff like that. I feel a little ashamed of this next one. And the next mistake I want to talk about is decluttering rather than cleaning. And this happened a lot when I was in college, especially because I just did not have the spoons for a whole lot in college. I was dealing with a lot of anxiety and depression and some other stuff. And it was just like, if I had a jar that, like a mason jar that I could be reusing, but it just had a food item in it for too long and it was gross, instead of, taking that out of the fridge, cleaning it out, throwing it away, on top of the need to address the fact that I put something in there with the intention of eating it and it just didn't, I would just toss the whole thing away, which, on top of not recycling or recycling very badly, was just wasteful. And I'll be honest, after that point, bought more mason jars. And the same thing comes from like clothes that I wasn't quite sure how to wash. So instead of trying to wash them and maybe ruining them, I just gave them away. And it happened a lot with kitchen stuff. And I got rid of a lot of perfectly usable things when really all I needed to do was clean them or, repair them. I could have done that earlier. I could have done that sooner and prevented a lot of waste and been more environmentally conscious as well. So yeah, that's one that I'm really embarrassed about, where I just got rid of things instead of putting the effort to clean or maintain them. Another problem that I've run into with my minimalism journey is that I tend to an all or nothing attitude, especially towards my things. So, for example, I should get rid of all my books because I shouldn't have books. Or I should get rid of all of my art supplies because I never do art. Or I should get rid of all of my Magic the Gathering cards because I never have the time to play Magic the Gathering. And those are all things that I've definitely gotten rid of all at once before. And I really regret it. I wish that I had some of the books that I had when I was a kid because, there's a bit of a nostalgia factor, but also I love rereading books that I had when I was a kid. It would save me, like, either the effort of checking them out once libraries are safe to use again, or just the expense of getting a book that I know I'm going to love and want to keep. I have become better at this all or nothing kind of mindset recently. For example, I recognized that I wasn't getting the use out of my art supplies that I wanted, even when I had all the time in the world when I was unemployed during quarantine. And so I made the decision to clear out a lot of my art supplies. However, there are still art supplies that I use. I love making Christmas cards, so I kept all my Christmas card material. And I really enjoy doing watercolors once in a while. And so I kept, my tiny little watercolor palette because it didn't take up that much space. I have basically gotten it down to the stuff that I really want to keep, and sometimes I'll get new stuff, but it all fits within like a category of things that I've decided intentionally to correct to collect. And that's fine too. I don't feel bad about acquiring those new things because I'm doing it with a very clear purpose in mind. But I do regret getting rid of everything in one category all at once, and I have fortunately moved away from that method of decluttering since then. But this last mistake is one that I've made more often than I want, and also it's two mistakes in one. So the mistake I'm talking about is either rebuying things that I've already decluttered or decluttering things that I'm going to rebuy. One of the mistakes that I will make is I'll declutter something that I will use in a future apartment when I'm moving out of my old apartment because I want to get a new one. Like that's all it is. I want the excuse to get a new one. I have a shelving unit that might be convenient to move that I could move, but I might end up throwing it away and getting a new one. And that to me is a mistake. I don't want to get rid of stuff that I'm going to use later because I'm not using it right now. This came up a lot when I moved from an apartment back into my parents' house, and I got rid of some stuff because I just didn't want to have it while I was in my parents' house. I'm replacing things kind of preemptively in this case by getting rid of old things and then buying new versions of them to fit aesthetics or to fit kind of an idealized version of myself, and I really don't have to do that. Alternatively, I also sometimes rebuy things that I have already decluttered. A lot of this is clothing pieces that, that didn't work out last time, but it might this time. Just a lot of kind of wishful thinking going on there when I rebuy things that I've already gotten rid of. I feel like at that point I should know better than to feel like I absolutely need something if I've already gone through and made the decision, hey, I'm gonna get rid of this thing. I wonder if it'll come back. Oh, here it comes. I'll either get rid of something so that I can buy it new or buy something new that I already decided that I didn't need before, but for some reason I think maybe this time it's different. And obviously, sometimes there are situations where I'm going to need to replace something, but in that case, I probably wouldn't have decluttered it because I didn't use it. I would have decluttered it because it was getting old or something like that. So I just need to recognize, oh my goodness, this color in this video is great. Oh, it's really bothering me, isn't it? It all comes down to intentionality, which is something that I'm a big fan of, and I'm sure I'll make videos on in the future, where everything that I do is by intention and I've made a decision rather than just working on autopilot. And that's where I want to be more in the future, is more intentional. And I'm hoping that by reflecting on mistakes that I've made in the past in my minimalism journey, yes, take another shot, that I will avoid those mistakes and hopefully learn to be better at enjoying the stuff that I have and just making better decisions and more well thought out decisions. Have you gotten into minimalism? Have you made any of these mistakes? Or is there something that you regret getting rid of? Is there something that you wish you could get rid of, but you're worried that you'll regret it? Go ahead and comment below, share your thoughts. I'd love to hear them. And I'll see you in the next video. In the meantime, my name is Morgan, and I'm trying my best.